Now the MVP race is a very interesting one this year. I've still got Steph Curry barely ahead of James Harden. LeBron James certainly back in the mix. Anthony Davis been there all year long. But a guy who we're not talking about nearly enough is Russell Get Off My Runway Westbrook. He has been incredible of late, incredible all season long. Now he's only played 41 out of 55 games. I do think that comes into play when it comes time to vote on MVP. But if he keeps doing this until the end of the season, I think he's going to be right there. Just when we thought we'd have a healthy finish to this season, that's certainly not the case, and a definite ripple effect here on the Western Conference playoff race. Kevin Durant going to be reevaluated in a week after having a screw readjusted in his right foot from the preseason surgery to fix the Jones fracture. He had irritation, soreness. We'll see how long Kevin is out. The New Orleans Pelicans, meanwhile, trying to survive, trying to get that 8th spot back from the Thunder, but MVP candidate Anthony Davis out 1 to 2 weeks with a right shoulder sprain. That is not good news for the Pelicans, and they were already struggling. When the Miami Heat learned last week that Chris Bosh would be out for the rest of the season, it was extremely good news because of what it meant. That he was recovering, that a life-threatening situation in which he developed blood clots in one of his lungs that could have been so much worse was nothing more than a challenging comeback. Now Chris will be back on the floor at some point, but that's not what matters here. His health, his happiness, those are still in play. The Heat will play on, no doubt thrilled that he'll be there on the sidelines to cheer them on. Now from Chris Bosh's physical challenges to Larry Sanders' mental struggles, another situation where you hope a guy can just get healthy. The Milwaukee Bucks agreed to a buyout with the 26-year-old big man. He was going to be a big part of their program. He had dealt with some drug problems, had been suspended by the league. He tweeted recently that you guys will all know the truth very soon. Well, Larry, it doesn't matter what we know. It's about what you know, what's going on in your life. I hope he gets well. George Karl is back in the NBA, and the Sacramento Kings are better off for it, at least in the long term. In the short term, they have an interesting situation here. A top 10 protected first-round pick for this coming June that they will lose. It'll go to Chicago if they win too many games here. We all know that George loves to win. He's the 6th winningest coach of all time. That's why they brought him to town. But this is a lost season as it is. It'll be very interesting to see if they win too many games and lose that pick.